We'll just go and see what we can see in the backyard of what's been working on and what's the plans for things to be worked on in the future. So hopefully they'll stay there like that. Oh, first time camera in here, so bear with me with all this moving around and everything. It might stay here good. So you can see there's the 3 big black pots for growing things in, and then I got this other raised bed over here that I made. Lucky enough to have a cousin with a sawmill, and as you can see, all kinds of cedar trees in the backyard. They're just 3x6 cedar that I put a half dovetail, I guess they call it, something like a Appalachian style log house, log building. And there's the dogs over there. You can sort of see, got these little wire hoops over the garden, just for the early spring to keep the frost off. Not so much for the late season, but get things started early. There's a few tomatoes, I'll bring them in because it's getting cold these days. They're a little early, a little unripe yet, but they'll ripen up inside. I live in the bush, so I always got my backpack and then one of these, it's just a mosquito hat thing that keeps put on your head to keep the mosquitoes and bugs away from you, but it's always in my backpack, so I'll use that for carrying around my produce, I guess, whatever I gathered from the garden. It's the most convenient thing I've found so far, because if I try setting things on my lap, they'll always roll away. But I got the seat belt, you can see here, I just tuck it underneath, and then yeah, that seat belt buckle always breaks, so maybe I'll show you that real quick too before I get traveling too far. If I can hold this camera, it's just this little loopy hook that bent out of a piece of wire, and you can see the hole. The seatbelt just slides in. It's hard to do with one hand here and holding this camera. We'll see if we can get it. So it's just a regular seatbelt for wheelchair, I guess, I don't know. You can see it just slides in, gets held underneath these little tabs, both sides, and then this just goes in there, and then I just pull it tight, and then it stays good. The press button or whatever that kept it locked before would always come loose or get pressed and pop open, so this is the best way I found to fix that problem, because it's annoying dealing with things that don't work as good as you'd like them to. So I guess we'll just go to the back and see what else I can find in the garden to get. I guess maybe I'll take a quick little adventure back over here. Most of these things on the table here are all apple trees from seeds and pots. Hopefully gonna plant them all before it's too cold, so I guess I'll probably try and show you all that whenever I get around to it. Hopefully in the next month or so. You can see the deer right there. I've been working on trying to make some deer. They're all just holes drilled, and so far with a draw knife to taper the ends down. So you can grab some pieces here on the ground. Here's the legs, or how a leg is, or whatever you want to call it. Just draw knife. Put it in this vise right there on that stump. Hold it to do that. Sawhorse is out of the same 3x6 that I got milled up from my cousin. You can see just the holes drilled in, and then the pieces slid in. This was made with a tenon maker or something. You slide on the end of a drill, something fancy like that, but it's much faster. My cousin bought it, try it out. I'm gonna try and make a building or a roof structure, I guess, to cover some things up. Same sort of style, because I'm not much of a carpenter. It seems easier to do that than trying to turn logs into boards and build like that. It's just what I have, so. This little cart wagon thing here is great. I'm gonna try and make one of those, because you can see it's getting a little rough, rotten there at the front. A little rusty. It's let me get this camera out. A radio cart. Something like a radio flyer, those little red wagons, but it's a cart. Just this little scoop shaped it is. All just thin gauge sheet metal. Little handle. It's the best wagon I found. Because it just sits on my lap here like this, and then it keeps the back legs up off the ground, and I can go wheeling around. So hopefully in the near future I'll make one of those, and I'm sure I'll show you all that. Here I just got my little tiny compost pile of things that make my hopefully good dirt at some point. Just some old cat tree junk, garbage we need to burn at some point. But there's the stump I used with that round vise. And then here's all the wood shavings from making the deer. But just go back to I guess my wife calls it the apple field garden. We'll see what we got back here, and if there's anything back here to see or show what I'm working on. Just what can be done, or how I do what I do. It's the first time making a video and recording, so bear with me, it's not the greatest. The camera keeps moving because it's just sitting in the, I don't know what they call it, cross body bag, front little pouch thing, but it's just strapped to my wheelchair. So I got these piles of dirt. There's friggin' one there. It's hard to see. Maybe I'll see if I get a better view. There's just a pile of dirt here. A little bench and a sprinkler just for my wife when she comes back. A couple of trees, and then a pile of trees that came from this small clearing. It's maybe, I don't know, 80 feet from here to the shade in front of me there, which is a pile of dirt from flattening out on the other side of it. And then from that bent over maple tree to, I guess that way a bit, there's that other maple tree right there, but it's probably, I don't know, 180, 200 feet that way. So however big that is, I don't know. But this is where I've been growing most of the things this year. I guess this first year. Maybe it was just in the springtime. Last spring, I cleared this area with the skid steer, and it was all super dense bush. You couldn't walk through here before. And now, we got some things growing. Camera keeps flopping around, but you'll see small little patch of corn here, small little patch of corn here. That didn't do so great. But it's the best that it's been yet. So added some more piles of dirt back here, soil, whatever you want to call it, to sort of raised bed style or permanent raised in-ground beds. To add to the garden here this year. So there's that pile, probably 12 feet wide there in the full view of the camera, and then this one here is maybe 10 feet, and then that one over there is another little 8 feet. But right here, I'm going to turn this a little bit of a corner, rough ride here, so you can see the rebar right there, the strings. everything's overgrown now. It's fall time, so can't see much in there, but it's probably 7 or 8 foot long. I had some tomatoes and things in here, and then there's all the pepper plants, and yeah, it's overgrown, but still it's the best garden we've had ever here in the past. I don't know, been here for 8 years maybe. So yeah, there's peppers and onions there. You can sort of see there's some banana peppers there, a couple there, a few more in here, a couple little jalapenos on there if you can see them sort of. And then yeah, there's some tomatoes there, and not a whole lot, but then on the other side there's just another pile of dirt. Like, it's nothing fancy, nothing wild and crazy, just simple. So that's how we've been having the garden this year, and then you can sort of see this little path in between where I just travel back and forth to get in between them. I'll see if I can put this camera down and show you a better view of how this all looks maybe. So you can sort of see the garden, each little garden bed, they're maybe 30 inches wide or something. Not super wide, just wide enough so that I can go down each side and reach to the middle, no problem. I might leave the peppers on just a little longer to let them grow, but there's some tomatoes right here that are pretty ripe, ready to go. So I grab my little mosquito bag here and put some tomatoes in there. It's nothing too crazy, fancy, wild, just try to keep everything simple and not too complicated. Yeah, tuck it under my seatbelt again and they won't fall away. So this is the other end. This is where the tomatoes, and there's the peppers at that end, whatever. I just came to the rebar there, so there's a little path sort of you can see in the middle. It's hard to see, but it's there. I come down the one side and then come over to this side. So there's probably enough room to drive a 42-inch lawnmower in between each row. So at some point I'll be able to cut the grass whenever we get a lawnmower, but for now I just go rough riding through the middle and then come to this side, and you can see another tomato here and then the pepper plants. But this way I can easily roll from side to side of the garden and get some tomatoes, peppers, whatever I'm gathering. Last week, whenever I was bringing the soil back here to make our gardening space bigger, right here in front of me you can see that white tag. Unfortunately, I drove over one of our pear trees, but it was planted 2 years ago now. Would have been early spring last year. So the pear trees didn't do anything this year, so I couldn't see them in all this long overgrown weed stuff, and unfortunately they got driven over. You can sort of see, it's hard to see right there, there's an apple tree that didn't have any apples on it, and then right there beside that sprinkler there's another apple tree. So the apple trees back here at least did something. Had I think 3 apples on the trees, and this is the second year they've been planted. So I'll see what else I can see around here that has been accomplished in the past little while to see and show you what I do. And you can see there, yeah, that's what the entire property looked like at one time. You can barely see through it, let alone walk through it, especially in a wheelchair. And you can, maybe I'll show you here. See, there's a 8-inch by 2-inch wheels, and I made this little thing for my feet because so my toes don't slide off the end, and drive into things and push them a little better with this. It used to be just a flat platform. And yeah, the fenders, they work good as armrest. So I'll see what else I can find around here and get back to you whenever I find it. So I didn't get far, I just turned around here real quick. You can see I'm still sort of in the same area. There's those rebar and the little garden thing there, and then somewhere there's that bench, and there's an apple tree. Right there you can see that stick twig of it there, sprinkler. But over this way, I'm trying to get a roof built. Planning on it, I suppose. It's a better word. Haven't really done much yet. Just got a small little platform over here. And then the material to hopefully put a roof up. Or build a structure to get a roof on. This camera keeps flopping around and shaking because the rough ground, and I don't know if you can see. Here, I'll take the camera out of what it's holding on to and show you what I'm dealing with so you can see why it's so wild. I got this little stick thing sticking up that holds onto it. And I don't know, it's just slid through the little handle on my wheelchair and then tucked in this little pouch, so it doesn't stay there that good. But it's real life. No fancy things here, just what I got to do what I'm trying to do. So there's I don't know, 8 2x12 by 12 feet long, I guess. My brother got them. He's a garbage man. He got them out of the garbage people were throwing them out. Construction site or something. I don't know if it's old scaffolding platform or what it is, but it's all pressure treated. And then there's that giant sandstone sharpening wheel I got from my grandmother's house just down the road. I'll show you that in a minute. But here's some cedar logs. Hopefully they're going to be what I used to make a structure here. Something simple, hopefully just 4 walls and a roof. I don't even need to close in the walls, I just want to keep the rain off the stuff. So if I can get up over there, I'll show you the size of this stone. There it is, and here's my hand on it. It's a big one, I don't know, close to 30 inches probably. The biggest one I've ever seen in real life. It's probably 10 inches thick, 30 inches round. I got you can sort of see back there too, there's a stack of the, whatever they are, the 2x12, these platform things here. You can see they're attached in 4 boards per section. So hopefully in the near future, before it gets too cold and snows out here, I'm gonna put a roof on this little wooden platform to make some more space in the garage, because as you've seen in there, it's full of things. But this is what we refer to as the apple field. I'm gonna get rid of that one tree right there in the center. It's an elm tree. I had it to support a clothesline wire for grapevines I was trying to plant along there, but things changed and I'm gonna try and do something better. But that tree's just in the way now. Then there's this one maple tree that's a little rough looking, but we'll keep it because it's nice to see the color in the fall. Maybe one day tap it. And then there's that cluster straight ahead in the shade up there. We tap that maple tree every year, and we maybe got 70 liters of sap, so I don't know, 1.5 liters of syrup this year. And then there's another one over there by that bench, just past the bench. You can see the tips of them starting to change. So, yeah, that's, I'm just gonna try and build and make and show you how I do those things. If that's something people are interested in, I don't know. But whenever I'm trying to find out how to do things, I'm always looking on the internet or YouTube to try and figure things out. If I could turn this camera around, I'd show you, but I don't know how to do that, so I'm just gonna talk here and let you look in the wild looking field thing that we got here. But yeah, I just want to show people that you can do whatever you'd like to do, and there's always a way to do it. You just gotta figure it out. If you want to do something bad enough, you'll figure it out. And that's what I do. So if you're interested in that, let me know. If there's anything you want to see how it's done from working in a wheelchair, then let me know. Be glad to show you what I can do or what's possible. Thanks. Have a good day.